What did you just say?
I said your dream stinks.
He said it again. Come here.
Hello, Illumineers. Welcome back to another episode of Limited Quackdown. My name is Joe. Joining me on the line from New Orleans, we have Jimmy. How's everything going tonight, man?
Doing great.
Excellent. We got a nice little show packed for everybody tonight. We're going to do our usual pack cracking. We've got a little cube update segment, and then we're going to talk about the new week, new format on Duels.Inc. We're going to try to have this be a more regular segment going forward as the new format rolls out every Thursday night. We're going to try and get you some fresh takes on what the new format's going to look like. But before we get into all that, let's give a shout out to our sponsors. First off, we're on Team Snuggly Duckling, the best ducks in the pond, and we're sponsored by Mattified, who makes the sweetest mats in the pond. If you want to pimp out your play area with some foiled out, just amazing, really top quality mats and accessories, head over to mattified.com, check out their newest drops. You can get all of for every card game you might possibly play. We play Lorcana, but he's got Magic and Riftbound and Pokemon and everything you can imagine. So if you got over to our channel by accident and you play some other game also, check out Mattified and you can really up your game. So before we get into our pack cracking at our main event of the night, Jimmy, what's been going on this past week? How was your Lorcana week?
This week was Gen Con, so it was a blast. Yearly trip for me. Been going almost every year for 20 years now, something like that.
That's incredible.
Got to play some Lorcana. Played a few limited events. Didn't win a mat, but it was a good time. And then got to play some of the new multiplayer coconut format.
Excellent.
Give some feedback to the devs that were there. It was fun.
Were there Ravensburger devs there?
Yeah. Kyle, the rules manager.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't remember the other two names. But you've seen her and him before on the Lorecast.
Very cool.
Yeah. And they were there asking questions. You filled out survey.
Oh, okay. What do you think? You think Coconut could eventually be a limited format where you draft because I've done Commander Draft where you draft a commander and then draft a deck around it. Do you think
I think you could definitely make some pretty awesome cube out of it somehow.
Okay.
I don't know if there'll be like an actual limited format with packs and stuff. I think it'd be too hard to get something that's
consistent enough with the themes of
all the different all the abilities.
Okay.
But I think curating a cube for it could be really fun.
So did they give you an actual card that had the ability on it to have in your play area so you knew what was up?
Yeah.
How did that work?
They gave us right now it's in the app. You can pull it up and you make a game in the app and then it
okay. You
could click on your icon and it'll bring up the whole thing and tell you exactly what it does so anyone can touch it to do it. But they gave us some beta cards that were just old Lorcana card with a sticker on it. Had
nice.
Everything written on it, yeah.
Very cool. And you got those to take?
Yeah, we got to take them.
That's a pretty sweet collector item.
It is.
If the format takes off, those things are going to be pretty nice.
They could be worth a lot. I don't know. I already sold them on eBay, so.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's very cool. There's a demand for everything.
Yep, for sure.
Very nice. Anything else interesting happening?
Getting ready for a win a case this weekend that I think I'm going to go to.
Okay.
So, been playing a little bit of some green purple. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Got to keep evolving those cards.
Yep.
All right. My Lorcana week was actually very, very dull. I was out of town for work last weekend, so just playing a little bit of Sealed Online, trying to get my first constructed reps in as set champs are just a few weeks away again. But in great news, we have a live cube draft coming up this Saturday. Should have the cube updated for set 13 tomorrow. And Saturday, we're going to shuffle up. And I hope we get to 8. We have at least 6. But if we could get to 8 live, that would be pretty sweet. Always like drafting. I think we missed set 12. So really happy to be getting back to it this time.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's the set's got some really powerful cards that are going in, and there's some cards that have been hanging out in the cube for a while just because they're shiny or because they have a place in my heart because they've been there for a while, but they've been power crept and it's time to say goodbye. But we'll get into all that a little bit later. Let's get into it tonight with some pack cracking. Jimmy, you got a couple Attack of the Vine packs?
I do have a couple Attack of the Vine packs.
Fresh from Gen Con. So we're going to do something new. So if you leave a comment in the comments below this YouTube video, you'll be entered in a chance to win the contents of the packs that we crack here on the pod tonight. And going forward, every cast that we do, we're going to give away the contents of the packs we open to somebody who comments on the video. So a little way for us to try and give back, and who knows, maybe someone will get something extra shiny.
All right, let's see what we got.
All right.
Okay.
First card up, we have the bear. Oh.
Yeah, I just got like the mic's in the way. The bear.
No worries. Pluto.
That's a good
Pluto's
one.
been so good. Miriam.
Yeah.
Cower Before Me. We've got Panic. Piercing Attack. We've got Rue. Hades.
That's another good
This
one.
is a solid pack. Rabbit.
That's solid.
Genie and Aladdin. First up, we got a super rare.
Oh.
Dash and Violet. We got a legendary. And To Wither a Flower. This was a really solid pack.
Yeah. Probably leaning Hades, but it could be Pluto.
Hades and Pluto are both really good. Yeah, Dash and Violet's such a powerful card, but if you can't shift it, it's so bad. I had it in a sealed pool where, I had both Dash and Violet, and if you drew it without having them in play, you're just like, it's just an 8-drop inkable card because it doesn't do anything when you exert it if there's nothing under it.
8 is so expensive, even for a 5/5 evasive.
Yeah, with resist.
It's hard to get there.
It is. I mean, if you have like multiple Dashes and Violets, I might consider playing it, but I think as a pack one, pick one, it's too much to bank on getting those cards, even for a legendary. So I kind of like where you're at with Hades, the 3 quests, the good sized body. You know you're going to get your 3 lore because it's got ward.
Yeah, it's definitely the safe pick for sure.
Do you give any consideration to Genie and Aladdin?
No. Like I like the ability a lot, especially being able to like just filter out all your early drops that you get stuck in your hand or you draw, something like that. But it's just a 3/3. It's a 3/3.
Yeah, for 5 if you don't get to shift it out. So yeah, I like either of the 3 questers. I think Hades probably beats Pluto by a little bit just because it's got the bigger bump on the stats. You know it's going to survive. It trades into more things if for some reason you've got to swing with it. But I don't think you go wrong really with either of those cards. You got Hades 1 and Pluto 1A.
Yeah.
Probably followed by Genie there.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that's a nice, great, honestly, first pack to be given away.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet one.
Yep.
Legendary and both very playable, both the legendary and the rare, and the foil. I've been playing some of the Wither in a green-yellow deck I've been playing.
I tried it in a sealed and was quite displeased with it, honestly.
Oh, same.
Okay.
It was a 1-for-1 the few times I got to play it. It got stuck in my hand. I pitched it to Smolder, I think twice. Just
okay.
Let's get rid of it.
I had
something else.
I had a sweet turn where I was able to take out like 4 or 5 things, and then I lost 2 turns later anyway. It's just so far behind.
Yeah.
All right, pack 2. Here we go.
Pack 2. Let's see what we got.
If I didn't have you,
yeah.
Which one's that? The 2/2 that I don't know his name.
Mata.
Mata.
Dash.
Yeah.
Dash.
Launchpad.
A solid one.
Yep. Scout Ahead. We've got
Another
Panic again. Cusco. Smolder. One and only. Windstorm. Woody. And Morph.
Morph might be the pick.
I think I like Morph out of that pack. Or Smolder. I think Smolder might be number 2.
Yeah, I like Morph and Smolder. I've also really been liking Launchpad.
Yeah, the alert is nice. I've been liking in the common slot though. Robin Hood.
Oh yeah, he's definitely the best. Just given all your other Vinelings.
Yeah, you get some surprise alert. Take out some evasives there.
What does Woody do? You play this
It's
character.
the one that returns a character, two or less.
2 or less, yeah.
Yep. I've done some neat stuff with the Buzz in Limited that returns an action, costs 2 or less, and then if you have a toy, you can return and play, as opposed to one or the other.
Yeah, I've been playing that a bunch of Constructed too, trying to make it work. I haven't got to use it in Limited yet. I had it in one deck where I had one piercing attack and one the
Mother Gothel card.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I had when we did pre-release sealed when we were at the CCQ a couple weekends ago. I had a really nice sequence where I played, I think the Mother Gothel card on 2. I played Woody on 3 that forces their thing to quest. And then the next turn I was able to play Buzz, return, play for free, and then challenge with Woody into their other exerted character. It was a really sweet sequence that'll probably never happen again.
Yep.
But we made it work once. All right. So to get a chance to win those packs, just leave a comment in the comment section below. And before we post our next episode, we'll pick a winner. We'll reach out to you. And then Jimmy will send these 2 packs worth of cards off to you. So good luck to anybody who wants a chance to grab a couple free Vine packs. So for our first main topic tonight, we're kind of going to have a split episode. We're going to do a quick cube update. We're not going to do it like the last cube update we did where we went card by card through every replacement. We're going to talk about cards in a couple of tiers, cards that are definitely going to make it, cards that might make it, cards that'll probably get left out, and then take a look at some of our friends that are going to say goodbye. So Jimmy, if you could pull up the deck. And we will get going. Oh, my dining room table. So this is an 8-foot table, and it goes from top to bottom, end to end. So I do this every time a new set comes out. The left side of the table, the left half, is all characters sorted by cost, 1 through 10. I try and within the cost break the cards down into keyword abilities. All get grouped together so I can see like how many evasives I have at each cost. The uninkables are in separate piles. Then the second third of the table, or like I guess it'd be the third quarter-ish of the table, are all the shift lines that are in the cube. So everything that has a Floodborn shift and then the cards that will shift into that card are kind of laid underneath it, just to make sure that everything that is a shift card has cards, to shift on, and to make sure that there's enough variance in them. And then the right side of the table are all of the non-character cards, action, songs, locations, and items. And then everything's laid out by cost. Uninkables are separated out of the same cost. And I don't know if you can see in the picture, but there's some dice on cards. That's kind of how I mark the cards as I go through, of things that I have earmarked to kind of remove. So as I'm putting new cards in, those become the first cards that go out.
Yeah, so you got some dice on some of the Floodborns there, maybe taking out a little Floodborn line.
Yeah, some of the line, not everything's meant forever, and we have quite a few new shift lines coming in from the new set.
With all the duos.
Yep. And then on the playmat, kind of on the left side towards the bottom, everything unsleeved, that's all the cards from set 13. That's one of every card in the new set. And then there's even, you can see the shiny on the Buzz Lightyear Legendary from the last set. There's even a little pile of cards that are getting second looks that didn't make it in the last time, but I think are going to be coming in this time.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this is how we start every new cube season, with the full layout. I get yelled at by my wife for taking up the dining room table for a week. But hopefully I think this is the 7th or 8th iteration of the cube. I think she's not getting used to it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Keeping track of the cube. I've been having, because some of the cards in the cube I built your cube, and a lot of them I only have one copy of, or it's my 4th copy of. It's like building the construction deck, I gotta go search through the thing to find them.
Yeah, I have that issue with a couple of cards, with Angel, for example, right now. I think I only have 3 copies of that card, so if I want to build anything with Angel, it's got to come out of the cube. But these are the sacrifices we make.
Exactly.
All right. So the first slide here we have, these are the slam dunk cards. Cards that I read the first time and went, this is a cube card, hands down. So we've got Mushu, the evasive that draws cards, kind of doing a Diablo impression. The Rapunzel and Flynn, filtering to play the cards you discard. Sully, who's been kind of a constructed, coming into his own there, been really good. Violet for filtering, Dash for card draw. When I saw they were printing another Morph, I was through the roof about it, because Morph is such a high pick in the cube because there's so many options.
Yep.
So to get a second version of that, Red Moon Ritual, the cube's always had some uninkable removal cards. So to get one that's a sync together that you can play early or hold till late, I think is a really nice addition. Red Alert, just another Brawl adjacent card that's inkable. Smolder for hand refill, Besties for filtering, Piercing to get through Resist. We have some cards are still in there that I think are coming out. Cards like Quick Shot, which is the 2-cost uninkable, deal 1, draw a card. Twin Fire, the one that deals 2, that lets you discard a card to deal another 2. Those cards people draft them and then don't end up playing them because they get better removal. So I think we're going to try and start to filter. I was like, I'm never taking any removal out, but I think we're at the point now where we're getting some better removal that we can start to filter some of those out. And then Absorbing Bloom with it, that I've been really super impressed with, to keep the handful as you have to challenge.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything that's just would stand out as a must add for me immediately, but these seems to be all of them.
There's a couple more that didn't make it. I think like the boo rare that attacks and banishes something that's 3 or less. There's some other stuff that,
like I would say the Woody and Buzz, but like that's so dependent on how many shift targets you have in the cube.
You'll see that on the next slide.
Okay.
So any qualms with any of these? Is there anything you think is, maybe not quite at this tier?
The piercing attack is the only one that like I could see not making it.
Okay.
Just because 2 damage for 2 ink, it's I don't know. It never feels good.
Yeah, the rate is not great. I do like that it gets through Resist, which is kind of why I had it earmarked here, because there's quite a few things that'll give, like a Cogsworth, that gives Resist to the team, where people, will use that card to avoid some situations. But I can see Piercing Attack maybe not being long for the cube, but I think it's going to get a shot. Yeah, the two damage cards are definitely not what they were.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see it like replacing one of them, like just Baboom or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, I think this was marked to replace one of those other 2 I mentioned.
Oh yeah, or Quick Shot. I mean, same thing. Quick Shot is just it's a cantrip, but you really don't want to be playing it.
Yeah, I mean, you're only dealing 1, which is even worse. And then this becomes an inkable card where that card was uninkable. So, and same with Twin Shot or Twin Fire. Yeah. So yeah, these were the slam dunks. These were the cards that the first time I saw them, I was like, this is a cube card. I hope they hold up. We'll do some testing. We'll find out this weekend. And one thing I do when we have a new set is I seed the packs to make sure that like 90% of the new cards will get played, so I can get some feedback on them after the draft. I want to find out how the new stuff is.
Oh, good deal. It's a good idea.
Oh, I do. I always collate packs. Like first I lay down a layer of like all the nice cards, like anything that's enchanted or like a full art, like a DLC promo. Because that's like, I call that opening the magic. It makes every time you open a pack, it like feels good because you're like, oh, there's like sweet cards in here. Then there's another layer of cards that I make a pile of everything that's card draw and removal. And then that's the next layer. Then there's a third layer that is Lorcana staples. That's where you'll find stuff like Sad Beast and Diablo, like Maleficent Dragon, Rapunzel, things like that, like the iconic Lorcana cards. And then that ends up being probably like 5 to 6 cards of the pack. And then the bottom 6 cards are fully randomized from the rest of the cube. But that way, every pack is guaranteed to have some bangers. Because when you have a lot of like shift targets and things, sometimes if it's fully randomized, some packs end up looking not great. So we do it to make everyone ooh and ah when they open a pack, and to make sure that there's something pickable for at least the first 1 or 2 picks.
Yeah,
like highly pickable.
Very good idea.
Yeah. So those are the slam dunks. The next slide up are cards that I'm on the fence about. Now, the first two cards on this page seem like slam dunks with A Few Good Friends and Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, but I don't know if these cards might actually be like too powerful for Cube. Like, I know Heath, the Mad Drafter, he had even posted in one of the Discords that with A Few Good Friends is not making his Cube because it's just so OP. And then
Yeah. I completely agree with both these two. Like, they're just feel bads. Like, if you have it, you feel great.
Yep.
But if you're playing the 7 other people at the table, do not feel great. And then
Right.
even Peter Pan, like, that card is it's a blowout either way. Either you win the game or they get rid of it and you lose the game. So it's just always feel bad for someone.
Yep. And in the cube, I mean, in limited, when you're drafting like packs, like just out of packs, like retail limited, you're not going to have as much removal. In the cube, if you're playing with good players, they're generally going to have a removal card in their hand at the point of the game that this card's hitting the table.
True.
And there's a much higher density of evasive cards in the cube than there is in retail limited. So for those couple reasons, it'll probably get a try. But if after, the draft this weekend and Ethan and I do a couple of heads up drafts, if it just feels as bad as it has in retail limited, I think that'll be very easy to send off. And same with A Few Good Friends. These cards are going to get a shot, but they're already hanging over the edge. So then we have Aladdin and Genie, which is expensive for a 3/3 one quester. But it is a nice filter. It does at least replace itself. We'll see how that one goes. It'll probably also get a shot. Woody and Buzz, like you said, it's a matter of having shift targets, and even sometimes by the time you're shifting on 5, you're not always going to be drawing cards off of this card. And at 7, you're like even Big Clarabelle at times doesn't feel great in the cube because you're not shifting her on turn 4 and then singing "You're Welcome."
Yeah,
it doesn't work like that.
You have to have some of those other cards there to make it better.
Yep. These cards are going to get a try, but they will be some of the first ones out, except maybe Beast and Belle. I don't even know if that's going to make it. It reads well, but it doesn't draw you the cards like Mufasa did.
Same thing. It's solid when you have the shift target.
Yeah.
Like just getting that first quest off and then being able to untap all your characters.
Yeah.
Just that one time is almost enough, but it has to be shiftable so you can actually do it.
Yeah, I like the new Bell that you can shift on it for 1 less. So if this card makes it, that card will make it. Water Noose is a good finisher, but the 6 on Inkable is a really tough spot to be in. You've got cards like Madame Medusa, Lady Tremaine, the Shere Khan evasive from a couple of sets ago that picks off things with damage on them. So I'd like to see him get in there as a 4 questing finisher in a ramp deck, but I don't know that he'll do it. Look What You've Done. That was the card we couldn't come up with the name with a couple minutes ago. Again, it's 2 ink for 2 damage is slightly underrate. So we'll see. There's not a lot of discard synergy, and it's not like you can play it if your opponent forces you to discard it on their turn. It's locked into discard on your turn.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a few discard outlets, I'm assuming are you running the 4-drop Cusco in the cube, the one that you can discard or draw every turn?
No.
Yeah, see, so, stuff like that. Like
Yep.
you got you're adding the Rapunzel and Flynn. Are you adding the 1-drop Rapunzel?
I think she's on the next slide. The ones I'm not sure about. I don't know
Yeah.
if I want to have the full discard
Right.
package in there. I mean, I'm going to add the new 1/3 Kronk where you can draw and discard. Look What You've Done will probably make it. There is enough, draw and discard looting to make it work. Yeah, I'm not totally sure. These are cards, like I said, that are most likely going to make it. The least likely, I think, on this slide to make it are the Dash and Violet and the Belle and Beast. Dash and Violet reads so good, but like we were saying in the Crack-a-Pack, if you don't have the shift targets, then it's really no good. And there's better. I mean, with the new Dash 5 and the Violet 5 that were on the first slide, those are also shiftable cards. So if you're using your shift targets for those cards, are you wanting to save them for this other bigger card? I'm not totally sure. Petrify, I think will get a shot. Exerting characters for 1 is nice. The Randall, I'm not sure about. It's really good early, but if you draw it late, it's kind of not ever going to quest.
You need some sort of a ink sync somehow.
Yep.
There's not too many of them in the game, though, unfortunately.
No, it just looks nice as a 2-cost, 2 questing evasive.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of effects in the cube that deal 1 damage to things, so it has that going against it as well. Excuse me. The Pocahontas and Miko, I don't really have any other Pocahontas or Miko cards in the cube, so to put this in and make it shiftable will require 3, 4, 5 cards to get it in there, and I'm not sure that's a direction I want to go yet.
Yeah.
Big Pocahontas never made it in. There's no like yellow-green aggro deck like we're all used to from Cornell. Decks like that don't really exist yet in the cube. So she does her ability to flicker 1-cost characters, I don't think is quite online yet.
Right, yeah. There's not really any good 1-cost come into play characters or leave play characters that do anything that would make you want to play this for 4.
Right. And at 4 ink now, you can get even the new uncommon genie they printed. That's a 3/3 2 questing evasive. You have the Todd and Copper. That's a 3/3 2 questing evasive.
Yeah.
All at that same cost. So this card probably should have actually been on the next one. Cards that are unlikely to make it. But I guess that's why we talk it out. I'm glad we're having the conversation. And then Vixie, which I haven't liked too much in retail limited. I think because there's so many more evasives in the cube, I think it could shine.
Yeah, I think Vixie's worth trying out for sure. There's probably some sort of reasonable tempo deck you can draft.
Yeah. I don't like that it restricts to cost 2 or less. Because the cube doesn't feature very many 1s, so you're basically saying you're going to bounce a 2 with it. But there are some impactful 2s, so we'll see how it plays out. It'll get a try. Thoughts, comments on this array of cards?
No, I agree with you on everything mostly. Yeah, I think I would try out. Yeah, like you said, like the Miko and Pocahontas, the Dash Violet, and the Bella Beast are probably like the least favorite to try out. I think give Henry J a try. Just big fatty.
Yep.
Questing for a bunch.
Questing for 4 closes out the game pretty quickly, and if he's online for questing for 4, he's going to have ward. So if you play him with a nice bodyguard, he might be able to get it done. All right. So the next slide are additions that are kind of the might not make it's. So we've got a couple of the Vinelings. So the Vinelings, at some point, I think I want to completely tear down the cube and rebuild it into an archetype-based cube, more similar to what we see in Magic, where there are some more defined, archetypal decks. And I think at that point, cards like Peter Pan and Scar will really shine.
Yep.
When you can have the whole Vineling synergy and play with some of the other Floodborns. But these cards for their rate, I mean, Scar is nice. When he gets banished, you do draw a card. But 5-cost uninkable. Excuse me. I'm not totally sure where I'm going to go with the Vinelings quite yet. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on those.
I mean, just all the old shifts are all Floodborn, so
yep.
I think playing these 2 are. I think you trying out just these 2 just to see how they do. If you're playing enough of the shifts where these are worth it, like I guess you don't have to try them out. You can just count them up on a couple of your decks that you guys draft and just see if if we only have 4, like it's not worth it. But if you're playing like 7 or 8,
yep.
If you start adding more Vinelings that are like filler slots along the curve, it could become much better.
Absolutely. Okay. And yeah, there's a blue fairy card from set 2 or 3 where every time you play a Floodborn, you draw a card.
Yeah, all those ones, the Chief Bogo that does the damage, or
every time you play a Floodborn, yep,
yeah.
Steel card. So there's some old cards that they printed that I mean, it's ambitious to think that they were looking this far ahead when they printed those cards, but it could really be a time for some of those cards to shine. This Buzz Lightyear, I like this card, and one of the upcoming slides has the legendary Buzz Lightyear, and I think this is a good shift target for that. And there are a good amount of 1 and 2 cost actions where even though there's not a heavy toy base in the cube,
Yeah,
even
just getting it back is good enough.
even just getting it back or playing a second card out of your hand for free could be really nice. Especially if like it's the last card out of your hand and you get to play a Smolder, something like that.
Mini Naveen.
Yep. The next one, we've got the Fluter Flam. I mean, anything that says draw a card on play, it's going to get a look at, but for 6, it's understated for 6, I think, even with the card draw. There's just so many more powerful things that I want to be doing for 6 ink in this game.
Yeah.
The Maylin Lee, almost like a fixed, kind of like a fixed Ariel. I'm not going to really be putting too much Red Panda stuff in right now. And Ariel's always kind of been on the fringe, so it's a powerful effect, but it's not like you're the only song drafter.
You're never going to have enough density of songs to where this is worth whiffing on.
Yep. Like there's a good amount of inexpensive songs, and it doesn't have to be inexpensive, but just to kind of fill out decks, because I always want the song archetype to work. Ursula 3 is not in the cube anymore, but Max Goof, the big one is, because he gets the couple extra cards. I always had these like grand visions of like Ursula double singing Second Star or the Mob Song or some of these like really awesome sing together cards, and it just never came together. When we go to an archetype based format, we might see Ursula come back in and some of these song cards shine, but I don't know. I think the only card in the cube that has singer is Ariel.
Oh, all right, yeah, I can see that.
There's just not a lot of that.
But yeah, they're just not worth it if you don't have the density of songs.
Exactly. Then I had the Maid Marian, another one of the Vinelings that stuck out to me as being kind of nice. It lets you get some ramp off of your characters going down. I took a look at, we've got a lot to do, but having just dedicated item and location removal has always been tricky. I like that it's inkable, but at the same time, there's a lot of characters that just have it tacked on.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that'll make it.
Yeah, not necessary until you start doing more synergistic cube. Yep. And then having it on an action instead of a character will be more important.
Yeah, like right now, I think the cube only has a dozen or so locations, and a couple of them are even coming out. So only like really trying to have just like the best locations. But eventually, a location deck is a real thing. There's enough cards that care about locations, and now with all the up cards, I think the cube overhaul's coming sooner than later. It's something that I think about all the time.
Just have a second cube.
Oh, good God, no! It's enough. It's enough. The Magical Honey Staff, I've liked a lot in retail limited, but in the cube we have cards like Gyro Evac, which kind of just do the same thing a little bit better. Yeah, and I don't know that we need like multiple instances of that effect.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at some point it's too many. I mean, with the evac and then the like ink runner.
Ink runner's in there. I don't have the magic feather anymore, and I don't have longboat. Gyro evac kind of took the place of the ink runner, and Gyro evac took the place of those cards. I always tell people when we sit down to draft, take evasives.
Yep.
I don't try and hide anything from the people we're drafting with. It's like you need to take evasives, you need to take them highly, otherwise you're just going to lose to them very quickly. Sully and Boo, I think, kind of has a similar issue to Dash and Violet, where, I mean, it's a playable cost on its own as a 6/5 for 6, but to get any value out of it, you have to have the characters under it, and it's really hard to guarantee that you're going to get those cards, especially when, like, the Sully and the Boo are both going to be pretty decent picks, I think, on their own.
Yep.
So it's not like a Diablo, where if you take Legendary Diablo in pack 1, you're probably going to get one of the one-drop Diablos because they're not that high of picks. A little different there. Hades, it's a lot of stats, but having only the keyword of ward, makes it nearly vanilla, and I don't know if that's quite enough. Again, it's 6. you get a lot of competition at those higher slots because you can't have too many of those cards, and the ones that exist are all very, very powerful.
Yeah. I mean, I was just hyping up Henry last slide, and this only has one less lore pip.
Yep.
So I don't know. I kind of like the
I
big
guess you're right.
fatties.
Yeah, you got to close the games out.
Yeah.
You got to close the games out. Tigger is a good stat line for 4, 5/4 reckless, and it can ready itself, so it can get you can go into like a 3/3 with it and not worry about them having a 1 power creature take it out or character. You can ready it and then try to guarantee or have a much better chance that it's going to take out another more valuable character with its next challenge. And then the Rapunzel 1 cost. I want to try to get it in there so that when I win one at set champs, I can put the nice one in, I think.
Yeah, it's tough to discard a card with no value. So just a lore.
Yeah. Having the Rapunzel shifts are nice. The Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. There's a Rapunzel from an earlier set. It's on the chopping block. The one where every time you remove damage from a character, you draw a card.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that still there being a better shift target.
Yeah. That's the kind of mechanic I always want to work. Things that benefit off damage removal. And, there's like the Amber Chromicon, and I think 1 or 2 other cards that remove damage, but it's really tough to make those things come together.
Yeah.
Any additional thoughts on the cards on this slide? Anything you think I should give more credit to? Maybe Hades?
I mean, maybe Hades. But also, maybe the bindlings that are those 3 bindlings. But again, just you kind of have to see how many floodboards you end up having when you draft.
Yep. Yeah, because I think in the new set, I remember it was like a dozen or so Vineling cards, maybe a little bit more than that.
Yeah, something like that.
So maybe eventually we just figure out how to get them all in there. Have a nice little Vineling deck. Then we can play the Vine.
Nope.
Ooh.
My cat is
your cat's
changing
anxious
stuff
to get
up. Yeah.
Your cat's anxious to get on with it. Go back a few. All right. So on the getting a second look slide, a few cards from the last couple of sets that I think are going to get another look this time. The Buzz Lightyear, being able to pick that action that costs 7 or less back up. I think I really underestimated that line. There's so many good actions that if you can rebuy them with this, and if you've shifted it, you can immediately sing an expensive song. I like where this Buzz is at, and that'll get me to include the other action Buzz from a couple slides back that lets you buy an action back. The Launchpad is a nod to the Darkwing Duck and Launchpad combo card. I think that card's going to replace the Darkwing Duck solo shift card from a couple sets back. The new one loses a point on strength and willpower, but the fact that it has ward and the Teika Robin Hood text of when it banishes you gain 2 lore, I think is a little bit more valuable than the challenging ready villains and also the something with items that never comes up.
Yeah. Extra lore or something? I don't remember.
The Milo's proven to be a much better card than I thought it would be. Discarding to bounce something. If we get some of these discard for effect cards put in, and it has ward, so you're going to get that quest out of it. And then, the fact that it can draw cards, if you make a couple of favorable challenges at the end of your turn, you get to draw a card to replace them, is nice. And Augustin is nice. I mean, Gaston wasn't on one of the slides, but he's kind of an auto-include.
I was about to ask. I was like, I'm assuming Gaston's in if you're including this card.
Gaston's in. There's a fair amount of support in the cube. I've always really liked support as a mechanic. Your cat really wants to go to set 11.
Yeah.
There is a lot of support in the cube, but I want to see if there's a place to get Augustin in, because having the 3 support is really key in making sure Gaston works all the time. And World's Greatest is in the cube and has been in the cube. So yeah, support I've always been a big fan of support, even though it's really only seen love in Constructed for the last, I guess once we hit the first rotation, people started playing the 2/1 Basil.
Yeah, playing the Basil for the Elsa turns.
But before that, I don't think a support card was ever played in Constructed.
Mm-mm.
So we've been support lovers since the beginning. So try and get this guy in there. Just a couple cards that popped out from the older sets. It's hard to go back through all the cards, but these were a couple that I'd had my eye on that are going to make it now.
Good deal.
And then...
Oh, what we're getting rid of? Oh no,
So-
you're getting rid of Grandma Tala. She's my favorite card of all time, I think.
Is she really?
Yeah,
Nobody ever plays that card.
I've built so many decks trying to make that card work.
Yeah, it's a sad day. It's a sad day. It's always hard to get rid of the shinies that we invested in, but sometimes they just get outclassed. Pete constructed All-Star for a really long time. Has just never really seen good action in Cube. You never know the turns where your opponents are going to be playing actions. It's really, really hard to guess.
Yeah,
And the 3/3 for 3 is just underwhelming with no real ability on it. Scrooge I gave a chance to, but this was a card I feel like every time my opponent played it against me, I was like, oh, sweet, okay. I feel not terrible about it.
right.
And when there's a card that when your opponent plays and you're like, I'm not playing that card, that's a card that's gotta come out. Donald Duck, I was gifted this enchanted, so he's just always been in there. But again, an uninkable 7 that nobody ever plays this card. So it's time for him to go. Grandma Tala we already touched on. A couple locations that are going. The Ice Palace. I've seen put to good effect maybe once ever.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, it always seems like it'll be a good effect, but just the 4 willpower on it. I think maybe if it had like 6 willpower, you could get maybe an extra turn out of it, but it's really hard to set up the situations where it's going to do what you really want it to. The mine, the 2 costs to move the characters there's not enough knights to make it repeatedly do 2, and the fact that you can only do it once per turn, it's just been underwhelming in recent drafts. My DLC promo Elsa is going away. This card just never sees play.
Yeah.
I have once shifted it on 4 and sang Be Prep with it, and that was incredible. But
I mean, it's 3 for whatever you're selfing, so
yeah,
still not the best.
Not the best, but something done once, and we say goodbye. The Darkwing Duck I mentioned is being replaced by the Launchpad and Darkwing card, which will let us get that Launchpad in there. We're also going to get the new 3-cost Darkwing 2/5 that does damage to something when it comes into play. I think just upgrades all around in that shift line. This Robin Hood card has become kind of outclassed. I've seen this card quest for 3 or 4 lore before, but at 5 as a 3/5 for 5, it's just not doing the thing. This Jasmine's a tough one to say goodbye. I always had high hopes for this card to do some really sweet stuff, but again, the fact that it requires the shifting to get the effect, your opponent has to have quested out or made a bunch of challenges the turn before. The Lady was in there, I think, as a shift consideration for Lady 5. We still have the other Lady 1 in the cube. This card is just such an awful top deck. You don't want it to be, you want to be able to ink it as an uninkable. It's really rough. You're rarely going to have the tramp. It just hasn't done the thing.
Yeah, having vanilla uninkable shift targets just feels kind of bad in a cube.
Yep. So Lady saying goodbye. And Everybody's Got a Weakness is another card that reads awesome and then never is awesome. So it's going to say goodbye. Anything here I'm overlooking? Something that needs to stay?
No, all these seem reasonable. Like the only one I'd consider trying to figure out again is Jasmine. But again, like it's so situational. And Tala, just because I like Tala. But
yeah, Tala's been a favorite. But dude, she just doesn't get played.
Yeah, I mean, there's not enough stuff to get extra ink.
Yep.
Like you have like one Great Stone Dragon, maybe.
Yep.
There's no Mama Odie.
Nope.
Yeah, so you need more random extra ink cards off the top somehow
Yeah,
to make her better.
Fishbone's not in. The Heart of Tafiti
Yeah.
used to be in, but is not in anymore. It's just too slow. And of course, there's going to be a ton more cards that go as well. But these were cards that I'd had much higher hopes for. I mean, except for Lady. Lady, just not that great. But most of these cards I had better hopes for when they were included, and just haven't lived up to what I hoped they would be. I want more powerful packs, and these cards were not making powerful packs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jasmine was always read so nice as well, and just never... I think maybe once or twice I've seen it happen, but most of the time people just ink it, or it becomes just a body on 6 if it gets to that point. You had said previously that you had made 1 or 2 changes to the cube, I think. What cards have you cut on your own?
No, actual. The only thing I did was add a magic card to the cube.
Oh, was
And
it the Clockwork Librarian? Is that
the Clockwork? Yeah, the Clockwork Librarian. I just think that's a
Okay.
fun effect for a cube. And
Yep.
so the card, it's you draft the card face up, and then at any point in a future pack or a future pick, you can put that card back in the pack and take 2 cards.
Yep.
And then it gets into the next person can draft it, and then they can do it, and it can go around the table. So if it gets open like pack 1, it can be really fun.
And for all of our Magic friends, that's how you make Storm work. Because sometimes there's always, when you're trying to draft Storm and Magic, there's always a pack that has 2 cards that you need to make the deck work.
And you know when it's not going to table.
Yep. So yeah, we'll have some other cards going out. I'll post links to the full change list, hopefully in the show notes once it's all done. So if anyone's interested in seeing the list or the changes, that'll be pretty readily accessible for anyone who wants to keep up with the cube. All right, so that wraps up the first half of our show tonight. The next half is going to be every Thursday night, Duels.Inc. God bless them for putting Sealed up. Every Thursday night, they release a new Sealed format. So for the past month or so, it's been... Well, I guess we had a different format last week, but for the first month of a format, it tends to be all the new format, and then they go into some different variations. So last week we had 2 packs of set 7, 2 packs of set 8, and 2 packs of set 9. So everyone just played the Dumbo lottery every time. But this week they threw us a curveball with quite the chaos array. So
yeah, we got sets 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a big jump to set 10 and 11. So a little one of each, a little randomness.
Very, very random. And when you're looking at the cards from sets 1 through 4 and then comparing them to the cards from sets 10 and 11, I think this sealed week is going to be how well did you open sets 10 and 11?
Yep.
Is going to determine a lot of how well you do. But also, when I was looking at the cards from set 2 had Let the Storm Rage On and Strength of a Raging Fire. You had Zeus in set 3.
It's sets 1 through 4. What songs did you open?
Yeah.
And then it sets 10 and 11. What characters did you open?
It's like old Magic.
Yeah, exactly.
Now the creatures are really good and the spells are not as good, and Ancestral Recall. So for those who don't know, Ancestral Recall in Magic is a card that costs what would essentially be 1 ink to draw 3 cards. It's
close to Friends on the other side.
Yeah, kinda.
Friends cost 0 most of the time.
It's true. True. So anyway, so what we've done and what we're going to do going forward is Jimmy and I are going to take a look through the sets, and we're going to pick out some cards to look for to include as you're building your decks for these formats, and then some cards to avoid. We're going to generally stick with common through rare. We're going to try and avoid super rares and legendaries because we're not going to see those as often. I had already made this slide and put the Ariel on there before we discussed that. But I think she's worth a quick mention anyway, as kind of a trap card. So some of my includes for set 1 were Be Prepared. You know, board wipes, if you're newer to a game, they don't seem good because they blow everything up. But being able to be the one who has control over when you get to hit the reset button, and be prepared, especially because it's a song. If you can get a 7-cost character in play and still have a couple of characters in hand, when you can sing Be Prepared and then immediately deploy more characters onto the board when your opponent doesn't know is a game-winning strategy.
Yep.
I included Tinkerbell. There's actually a lot of evasives in set 1, more than I realized, and a lot of 2-questing evasives, and the fact that she gives another character evasive for that turn, just that turn, not through the turn cycle, like a lot of cards do now, can allow you to make a favorable challenge that your opponent wasn't expecting. I chose Smash as the damage card. Anything that deals damage, we're always going to tell you to include. Just about. I'm sure we'll find exceptions.
Yeah.
Friends still probably, until they printed with a few good friends, Friends on the Other Side was probably the most powerful card draw card that they had printed. A 3-cost card that you can just sing to draw 2. I included the Beast card to banish an item. We will see some items that are worth playing. We've got Medallion Weights, Ink Runner. There are some pretty powerful items. And when you're not having to take up an entire card slot just to dedicate to that, when you get it as an added effect on a character, it can be very advantageous. And then develop your brain, because we're generally of the mindset to not really be playing 1-cost cards. The 1-cost characters are, 90+% of the time not worth including. But when you can play a develop on turn 1 to set up future turns, or even as a top deck later in the game, just being able to pay 1 to get another card that you can play has a lot of value.
Yeah, agree with all these. Yeah, I especially like the Tinkerbell. Just being able to challenge, that you have a 2/3 evasive, they have a 2/3 evasive. A lot of times we'll just quest back and forth in front of each other, but Tinkerbell allows you to take a big advantage there.
Yep. And then the avoids I had for set 1 were the Ariel Spectacular Singer. This card, if you played Lorcana for the first 8 sets, this was a constructed all-star. This was the backbone of Amber Steel Songs for a full 2 years. This is not a good limited card. You are not going to have enough songs in your deck to make this card work. The Singer 5 is, again, 90% of the time going to be irrelevant, and 2/3 for 3 that quest for 1 is just not a good card. Fishbone Quill. If you don't have a lot of ways to refill your hand, this card was also a constructed all-star for quite a while at the beginning of Lorcana, but that was when you had a whole new world and you could easily refill your hand, so you would be getting an advantage off of getting all those cards out of your hand. Just in Time saw a little constructed play, but 2 for 1ing yourself just to get a little up on ink, I don't think is very valuable. The Maleficent, and this also goes for the Lilo that's in this set, that's the same cost and stat line. It's just a 1/1. There's so many things take this card out. The 2 lore generally is not going to be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically 1 ink, gain 2 lore, discard a card.
Yep, which is a card I don't think we generally be playing.
Right.
And then the Genie, it's a big evasive. It quests for 3, but that 8 on Inkable, if you don't have a shift target, this is just going to rot in your hand forever. I would want 2, 3, 4 shift targets before I would think about running this card, I think. And even then, I'd still be...
Probably not, because the shift targets are just better.
Yep. Yeah. And a 3/5 for 8 is... And you're never going to have the ability kick in with the actions, so... I think that's just one to avoid. And then the Scepter of Arendelle, we got to experience this card again a couple sets back with the staff or the cane or another card.
Tiny Tim's Crutch.
Tiny Tim's Crutch. The Crutch, yeah. We both wanted to like it. And
I like Tiny Tim's Crutch. So this is what, so in set 1, I never played Scepter. I didn't like it at all. But in set 11 with Tiny Tim's Crutch, I liked it and I played it. So I think it's going to be having this weird format with 6 different sets. I'm not sure if it's going to be good or bad.
Okay. We'll leave that one on the fence. So maybe try it out. Don't necessarily avoid it. But if it doesn't work a couple of times, you should probably be quick to put it back on the bench.
Yep.
All right, Jimmy, what do we have for set 2?
All right. For set 2, we got the classic Merlin and Madam Mim. You can never go wrong with these two. They're just so good. And then was Crab also in this set?
Crab was also in this set.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, basically that whole package is just great.
You're very rarely, I think, going to have Rabbit and Fox because they're both rares and you're only getting one pack. If you open Rabbit and Fox, you hit the lottery.
Yeah.
And, take advantage of that pool.
Then we have Bibbidi Boppity Boo, which is going to allow you to just replay your great come into play effects or leave a play effects. Or just even simply like untapping a bigger character with a smaller character just to protect it for a turn or two.
Yep.
And then Queen of Hearts, you're doing a lot of challenging in Limited, so you're going to draw some cards off this.
Yeah, this is one of the best cards in Limited, period.
Yeah. And you don't need to shift it. Don't care about shift
Don't
turns.
shift it.
Just smash it for 5.
Yeah, you're not generally challenging with that card ever. You're playing it on 5 and hoping to draw some cards.
Yep. And then we got the classic Popsicle. It's just cantrip, and it has utility with the healing, which is way more relevant in Limited than it is in Constructed. Yep. And then finally we have Let the Storm Rage On.
I wasn't sure if I should pick Strength or Storm for this slide, but you can't go wrong with either.
Either, they're, both great.
Yep.
Let the Storm, just getting that card draw.
Yep.
Even though I earlier I talked about Piercing Attack and look what you made me do, doing 2 damage, and
neither are songs.
And feeling bad, and that's the reason why. It's because they're not songs, so you can't play for free, and this one draws you a card.
We're so spoiled.
Yeah, I know. And then some ones to avoid. We have Cinderella, because you're not really singing any songs. I mean, you may open some songs, like there's a chance, but it's just not worth it to play it. Playing on 3 is fine. Yep. Prince John, it's just a 1/2 that's going to quest once and be banished because there's not much discard to get value off of it. And then we got Pinocchio, which is just another vanilla stat line big quester early on. So it's same thing as the 1-drops. Pay 2, quest for 3, and then it goes away. And then we have Radigan's Marvelous Trap, which is a 3-cost uninkable item that banishes item each opponent loses 2 lore. Paying 3 ink to make your opponent lose 2 lore is not something you really want to be doing. It's just negative value.
And it's uninkable.
Yeah. Then we have Goofy, the big old fatty.
Do you remember when they spoiled this card?
No, I don't.
Oh, when they spoiled this card, people went bananas. Because there weren't... the only 4-quester was Brave Little Tailor. There were no 10s in stat boxes.
Yeah.
So it was just like, oh my god, this card, and it never saw play.
Yeah, it's just 10 for 9.
Yep.
You're never getting to 9 ink. So unless you have the 4-drop Mickey in one of these sets.
Which one?
The one that lets you play a character for free play a character for 2 ink.
Oh my goodness, no, I don't think so. I think that was set 7 or set 8.
Yeah. And then finally we have the most diabolical scheme. That would
be so awesome, though.
Which is banish chosen villain of yours to banish chosen character. Again, yep. two for wanting yourself. It's uninkable.
And conditional.
Yeah, and conditional.
I've played a little bit of Glimmer versus Glimmer, whatever set that was in, the 4.
Yeah.
To banish one of your things to banish one of theirs. I mean, you are 2 for wanting yourself, but if you can get rid of your 2-drop to banish their,
6-drop or something,
or whatever, yeah. But
this being,
you need to chuck a villain. Glimmer vs. Glimmer is actually coming out this update.
Oh, out of the cube.
Out of the cube, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one's already marked for departure. I think I'm replacing it with Windstorm.
Right,
I want to give that card a try. Or no, I think Windstorm's going in over Avalanche, and there was something else marked to go in over. The whole change list will be posted soon. It's all over my table.
All right, what do we got for set 3?
All right, set 3, they introduced locations. And the Queen's Castle was the location in Lorcana for a long time. This is a 4-cost location that gives you 2 lore, and at the beginning of your turn for every character there, you get to draw a card. it's still very powerful. You can move a couple characters there. It can be a good value engine. I'm still not the hugest fan of locations in limited, but this is one of the more powerful locations that they've printed, especially with the 2 lore and the card advantage. Chernobog's Followers. This is a 1-drop that is worth playing because it's always just at least going to replace itself without setting you back very much ink. Kid Cloud Kicker is a great tempo play. You can play this on 3, and you're almost always going to be able to bounce what they played on 1, 2, or 3. All right, Cat.
Pixel, come on.
Then we have your cat's name's Pixel.
Yes.
That's awesome. Awesome cat name. Sumerian Talisman is an item that whenever one of your characters is banished in a challenge during your turn, you get to draw a card. So it lets you make all of your challenges advantageous if you're forced to trade. And then the all-star combo of Grandma Tala and How Far I'll Go. These are both just card advantage cards. Grandma Tala, you get to look at the top 2, put 1 in your hand. How Far I'll Go replaces itself into your hand and ramps you. They're both amazingly powerful card advantage cards and should make every deck where you open them. The avoids for this set, I had Cursed Merfolk as an 0-1 for 2. It does take a card out of your opponent's hand, but it leaves no damage on the character. So they're able to discard something, a low value character or something they weren't necessarily planning on playing. Not a great card to run. The Lamp, 2 conditional. You need Genie or Jafar to make this card work at all. Treasure Guardian doesn't work if it's not at a location. Ursula, and I think we'll see another hand disruption card a little bit later, but in limited, in these sealeds online, your opponent's rarely going to have songs. Every once in a while, you may nab something with it, but a 1-3 for 2 understated. Heart of Tafiti was a cube card. I always liked how it read, but it's just so slow. It's not what you want to be doing on turn 3. And even if it is what you do on turn 3, you're then restricting yourself to playing a 2-drop on turn 4. And if that's the game plan you're taking, you're just going to be so buried by your opponent playing a character on 3 and a character on 4. You're going to have all the ink in the world, but you're going to have lost the game. So probably an item to avoid. And then Hades. In this set, there was a little bit of Titan synergy that they tried to get going, but a 6 for a 5/5. There's a lot of 5/5s that quest for 2 for 5, with like Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard and the deck of cards card soldiers. You can just get a better value. This is kind of a vanilla understated 6-drop.
Yep. Set with Ursula. A lot of the times, like if you don't play it on 2, you're never going to hit a song because most songs, when they draw it, they're going to play it. So it's just most of the hand disruption. You have to play it at a perfect timing, so it's not worth even playing.
Yep. These cards are in the cube, the hand disruption cards, because there is a higher density of songs, and the songs are always going to be impactful.
Yeah, it's in the cube. Sometimes you'll sandbag a card to wait for a better character to remove or something like that.
Yep. All right, on to set 4, the set that brought us Diablo.
And TikTok, the best common of all time.
No, I mean, Pegasus just outclassed that guy.
Yeah, that's true. At the time, TikTok, it was just, having a 4/7/6 cost be a first pick was just it's weird, but it was great.
It was good. Yeah. Did you see there's some promo product coming that has a promo version of the Pegasus in it?
Yeah, it looks great.
It is beautiful. I got to figure out how to get that card.
Yeah, it's something quest.
It's like included with a book or something.
Yeah, it's a storybook about the lore of Lorcana.
Okay.
Around whenever they first discover Acacia's Island.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure of the lore on that one, but I will be acquiring one of those books to get that card.
So surprisingly for this one, we got 2 includes that are items. So Great Stone Dragon, allowing you to ink without having to from your hand. So it's effectively card draw.
Yep.
And then Medallion Weights, which is card draw, let you boost a character's strength, and then when you challenge, you get to draw a card. 2 very
Medallion
good cards.
Weights is so good.
Yeah.
And don't confuse Great Stone Dragon, because we just had Heart of Tafiti on the last slide. That card even though they have the same cost, this card has no cost to activate, and that's the biggest difference in those cards. The 2 costs to activate to Heart of Tefiti is what makes it not good in comparison to a card like Great Stone Dragon.
And then we have Daisy Duck, just a 2/3 for 4. The stat line's not great, but making your opponent discard a card can be very relevant, especially when you're on the draw. You can snipe their last card. And then we have Isabella Madrigal. She's just a huge evasive quester, so you can deal with the board while she quests for 4.
Yep.
And then we have Cricky, which, is a classic constructed card. Just being able to boost your entire team and trade up. You can kind of set it up by creating board states that where you can get everything turned sideways and then just take advantage of it. And then there's TikTok, the 6-drop, evasive 4/7.
So good.
He's just a big dude.
Yep.
He only quests for 1, but he takes care of the board. And then for the avoids, we'll start with Imperial Proclamation. Just paying 1 ink to possibly save an ink here and there is not worth it, because most of the time you're not going to be able to do 2 things on 1 turn anyways. So saving the ink is pointless. Triton's Decree is a 1 cost uninkable action. Each opponent chooses one of their characters and deals 2 damage to them. It's your opponent's choice. So unless you do this on turn 1 to kill their 1-drop, they're just going to put it somewhere where it's not going to hurt them too bad.
Yep. The rare occasion where we will tell you not to
play
a damage card.
And then we have Scuttle. And while there are 2 item includes on this one, you're never going to play more than 1 or 2 items. So Scuttle's going to whiff most of the time. So it's a 1 cost stat line for 2.
Yep.
And then we have Ursula, the 2/4 for 4. That when she quests, you can look at chosen opponent's hand and take an action card out of it.
Any non-character.
Oh, any non-character.
Yeah.
But again, by the time she's active and able to quest, they're never going to have an action card in their hand. Maybe in some miracle states you can snipe a V-Prep, but
don't count on that.
Yeah, playing a 2/4 uninkable for 4 does not seem like a good idea to try to live in magical Christmas land.
Yeah, she was a card that was in the cube for a long time, and eventually just, even though it's hand disruption and people tend to have a non-character, she just didn't get played as the 2/4 uninkable.
Yeah. Next, we have Avalanche, deal 1 damage to everything and banish a location. 1 damage is usually not relevant enough. This is different from Windstorm, because Windstorm does the extra damage to evasives, and dealing with evasives is much more important.
Yep.
And then we have Find on Platinum. Like, it's going to be 4 ink to banish a single item.
And that's why we mentioned the Beast card on the first slide, because when you get that ability on a character.
Yep. Yeah, if you can find an action ability on a character, the character is always going to be better and limited.
Yep. All right, now to some powerful cards. All right, we take a big jump forward to set 10. The first include is Raja, 3/4 bodyguard. We used to see you would get like a Hercules, like a 3/3 bodyguard for 3, or the Prince Eric. This was Whispers in the Well. We really started to see some power bumps on the stat lines we were used to seeing. And Raja's a prime example of that. Ink Runner, it's another item, but it replaces itself as soon as you play it. You draw it, and it gives your characters alert, so you're able to take out those pesky evasives. Next up is the Horseman Strikes. Even if there's no evasive, you can still play this card and just draw a card. But there are several good evasives in this format. So Horseman Strikes is going to be a premium card to handle what your characters cannot. Thunderbolt, action song that does 4 damage to something. I mean, it's kind of Temu Zeus, but Temu Zeus is still going to take stuff out. Ursula, this card is one of my favorites. It's a 4/5 2-quester. You can boost it for 1, and when it's boosted, it becomes a 3-questing evasive card. This is a game closer. That's a regular rare, so you're going to see this quite a bit while playing this format. The 4/5 with 2 quests is slightly understated for 5. But as soon as you ready your ink the next turn and boost it once, it just will close out a game in a few turns at that point of the game. And then Gwythaint, 4/3, when you quest with this big evasive, your opponent will exert a character of their choice, and they have to choose a ready character. They can't exert something that's already exerted. So it's a good way to set up favorable challenges from your side while still getting evasive quests in. Cards to avoid are Henwen's Visions. Man, the first time I played this card and I didn't draw that card and it just went back on top of my deck, and I was like, I know I can read the card. The card says what it does, but I was like, oh, this is very poor. It sets up the top of your deck, which seems good, but just to pay 1 ink and put a card in your discard is not wonderful.
Yeah. The tempo loss is too much.
Yep. Munchings and Crunchings. Remove 2 damage from chosen character. It's just not worth a card in your deck. Removing damage, if you have other cards that, if it was on a body, cards that remove damage are always nice, but just having an item sit in play to take a couple damage off is not going to be advantageous. Nana lets you discard a card to return a character that costs 2 or less. Having to discard a card just to bounce a small card that they're going to be able to replay the next turn, card disadvantage. It's kind of a tempo play, but it's not a good one because you're down a card and they're just going to replay their card the next turn. Begone, another bounce card. This one hits things that cost 3 or less, but it's not even coming on a body. You're just getting maybe a turn of tempo to lose it the next turn when they replay their card and you no longer have your card. Bronx, 6/4 Reckless. Is this a card to totally avoid? I never really played this card, but it seems like not terrible. They're gonna generally have to 2-for-1 into it.
I don't know. From my experience playing with it, it was always bad.
Okay.
Sometimes it would get to be able to 2-for-1, but a lot of times it would just be stuck for a turn or two, or, it could trade up. I mean, I don't know if it's a full avoid, but it's not as good as you would think it is, I guess is.
Okay. Yeah, I never had it at really, I think, more than like a C+, but I always had it in that like C+ range because it seemed like it would get a 2-for-1, and I generally don't like reckless characters all that much, but it seems like you think it's more like a D- kind of card. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really play with it too much, so I'm definitely going to trust your judgment here. And then the last card, Trust in Me, 6-cost song that gives opposing characters minus lore, or they discard 2 cards. This is one of those cards that I'm going to lose to, but never play.
Yep. If the timing is right, it's great. But if the timing is not right, it's a dead card.
It's just rotting. And then the final pack you'll open in your sealed this week will be set 11.
Yep.
Oh, Lumpy!
Yeah. Lumpy's pretty good. More common, big, fatty evasive. So we got Lumpy as 6/5 evasive, quest for 2. And then right next to it, Slushy, another just big evasive 5/5 for 4, uninkable, that quest for 1.
Such a crazy stat line.
Yeah, all your large evasives are always going to be great. Just looking to smash all this in the deck as quick as possible. And then we got Isis, Vanderchill. Any of the tap abilities I always like playing. Just being able to control combat.
Yep.
And then we have Chief. I'm a fan of all the big bodyguards, whether it's Chief or Bronx or what's the new one? The 4/6 for 6.
Oh, the Pocahontas character.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
Yep. Every time I try and say it, it sounds wrong. So I just say
the
new Pocahontas character.
Yeah.
McCorn's really good. The 6/5. I think he was in set. He's in this set also.
I think he was in the set. Yeah, I must.
Set 11. The Winterswell pack is probably the most powerful pack by far.
And then we have a 2-drop Scrooge McDuck. He's just a 2-drop that can become an 8-drop.
Yep.
He's huge. And Snowfort. The resist on your opponent's turn and the +1. You do have to take a turn off for tempo to get it down, but once you do, it just makes all of the combat so much more difficult for your opponent.
Yeah, the challenging math just goes
Yep.
right through the roof with that card. You know, if I had Scrooge, I might play the Nana card, you know, to discard a card, to bounce your own Scrooge, to pick up like 5 cards.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think generally no Nana, you know, in this one super corner case, maybe you run it and then just assume you're not going to activate its ability unless you have Scrooge in play. But
Right. I mean, it's inkable, so you could always ink it.
Yep. And when you have a card like Scrooge, you're always looking for the bounce effects.
Yep. So then we got the avoids, more 1/1s for 1, that quest for 2. This one is Miko that has evasive, but to keep him around, you have to discard a card, and he's never going to get enough lore to win the game for you.
Yep.
And then we have more hand checks with Timon. He gets any non-character card, but he's a 2/3 for 3 that's uninkable. So he's just a 2/3 for 3 that maybe if you play him on 3, he might get an action. But otherwise, he's just a understated character.
Yep.
And then we have this card that I added. Do you want to build a snowman? Some people like it, some people don't. I'm not a fan of it because, again, it's an opponent choice card. So they're always going to choose what's most advantageous for them. And then we have my new favorite constructed card, Retro Evolution Device. In limited, it's just not going to be as good. You're paying 3 to save 2 ink later on, and banishing one of your own characters would, instead of making them deal with it, never worth it. And we have Elsa, 3 ink, 2/2, quest for 2. When you play her, you can play your next location for 2 less. Again, it's just understated character. You're not going to have any locations that you can play for free or get the bonus on it hardly ever. And then if you do have them, you have to line up both cards at the same time. It's too much going on.
Yep.
And then we have Let's Get Dangerous, which I would play for funsies, but I wouldn't actually play it.
Yeah, don't play this card to win. Play this card for fun.
Yeah. Just you shuffle up and then you just both your real cards and play the creatures, the characters.
Did
Not
you
worth
ever
it.
try the constructed Let's Get Dangerous deck?
No.
That popped up?
I never tried it.
Ethan was playing it for a little bit, and it was playing like that 10 cost, 10/10 bodyguard Mickey that like quested for 5, and it had some bananas turns.
Yeah.
But it was not good. It was fun, but not good.
The same thing. I played the Hey Hey Shift constructed deck for a little while.
The one where you ink your whole hand?
Yeah. And it's just like, hope to draw something off the top. That's good.
Yeah, now I have no cards. Okay. Very good. All right. So that's the end of the slides for this evening. Thanks everyone for sticking with us. I know we went a little bit longer than we tend to go tonight, but a lot of fun Lorcana stuff to get to. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Please like our video, subscribe to our Team Snuggly Duckling channel. You can get in touch with Jimmy and myself over at limitedquackdown@gmail.com. If you'd like to win the cards that Jimmy opened in our pack opening tonight, just leave a comment in the comments section below, and you'll be entered for a chance to win, and we'll pick that winner before the next time we cast. Make sure you tune in to some of our other Team Snuggly Duckling podcasts. We've got the brand new podcast, Jake's Takes, where he's also doing some giveaways, so go listen for his keyword and try and win some cards. We've got Duck Tech, we've got Tavern Talk, and we've got Ladies Night, all amazing podcasts under the Team Snuggly Duckling header. Jimmy, any closing thoughts for this evening?
Go to duels and play some sealed.
Yeah.
It's a blast. Like we do usually a few weeks after a set releases, the number of players that play goes down. So we want to build that number back up to what it's like when the set first releases.
Yeah, these chaos weeks are kind of tough, but they're also really fun because you have no idea what you're going to play against.
Yeah.
When it's 6 packs of set 13, you have a good idea of the cards you're going to see draft in and draft out. And when you're only getting, 8 commons or whatever, 9 commons from each set, you're really 7 commons. It really could be anything. So yeah, getting those limited minds, crack some sealed. We'll be back in the next week or so. We're going to try and do this a little more regularly and get these sealed breakdowns out for everybody. I'm going to try and record my draft on Saturday night so we can have a little cube draft dissection next time as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. So please leave some comments below with anything else you'd like to see. Drop us a line. But for Jimmy, I'm Joe, and we will see you next time.
Bye.